So I just recently beat Road 96 Mile Zero for the second time. I have been binging this game since it came out because of just how much I love Road 96 and how this game perfectly fits in as a prequel. Before we get into that though, I do want to mention a couple things. Number one, please hit that like and subscribe button. We're almost at 1,000. It'd be great if we hit that. Just a quick channel note. I apologize for the video about Infinite Guitars. So essentially, Lando from Exploring Game Pass, which is a great channel, you should definitely check it out. He highlighted Infinite Guitars on Game Pass, so I checked it out and I ended up playing hours of the game and really enjoying it, and immediately I just made a video that night. I ultimately decided I wasn't going to release it because I didn't really feel like it was done. I wasn't exactly happy with it, and apparently I instead of just putting it to private or to not upload, I ended up scheduling an upload. I don't remember doing that, but I'm not surprised. That's what happens to me. So anyway, in a way to apologize, I will actually do a full review of Infinite Guitars on the Nintendo Switch, but expect that to be next week probably because I got a lot of work to do. Anyway, back to Road 96 Mile Zero. Now, this game follows two main characters, Zoe, which you might remember from Road 96 if you played it, and Kato, who is also from a game called Lost in Harmony, which no, I haven't played it, but I plan on playing it very soon, just to see how it all lines up. But anyway, you follow these two characters, and you start to understand different events that led to the situation that happened in Road 96. Now, if you haven't played Road 96, real quick, let me just explain it. You play as a bunch of different teenagers and their process of escaping this authoritarian state. Road 96 Mile Zero follows, like I said, two characters, one being Zoe, who was a prominent figure in Road 96. Now, with Mile Zero, you still have the same question-answer kind of narrative-heavy dialogue, which your decisions make all the difference in the world. But you also have this rhythm type game that sort of plays like a Ollie Ollie world, if you will, where the events and the course itself are predetermined, but you have full control of the character to decide how you're best going to navigate said course. Now, the best part of this is the music, and honestly, I was surprised to hear like The Offspring in here and other bands that I had recognized. What is also really great about that though is the storytelling that is done through the music in these parts, and even incredibly important decisions that are made during these parts of the game. One of my favorite parts of the game that really just opened it up for me is when I put my headphones on and I played this story aspect where Kato was trying to explain to Zoe that the world that she was growing up in is a lie. And it's only good for her and the wealthy. Because you see, Zoe is the daughter of the Minister of Oil. So she lives in a very rich area. In fact, she lives right next to the dictator and next to Sonia, a very popular TV star. So her neighborhood is, top notch. She's incredibly wealthy, as where Kato is one of the poorest people. And he comes from a family of immigrants, and they are the workers in the society and pretty much the poverty class. Basically, these two are having a discussion about how the world that Zoe thinks is there is not really there. It exists for her, but the wealth and equality in this country is just massive. And he's trying to explain his side of things. And so you start off as Zoe, and you're in this like world where the streets are paved in gold and everything looks wonderful. And then as he starts to explain, then you start seeing the world outside of these fake walls. And the game just opens up, and it's just like full immersion when you got that music going on, you get your headphones on, you're playing these, you're listening to the conversations that they're having, and even Zoe's internal dialogue herself as she's struggling to understand what exactly is going on and how maybe she's been lied to and how the perspective of this world is a lot different than what she had thought it to be. Ultimately, I love the storytelling mechanic, one that I tend to call like the telltale mechanic because that's when I first really recognized it, as the banter and your decisions and your answers basically make the entire story, and it really evolves around how you proceed to play as the characters. Do you want to play as yourself? Do you want to experience something from a different perspective, or just maybe how she actually interprets it, or how Kato does? This is what I really loved about Road 96, is I would take different characters and maybe go one really far right wing, one really far left wing, and just kind of see how the world impacts them. But with this one, again, we're dealing with the same two characters. And we see how childhood friends are torn apart by wealth and equality, but how their ability to understand their life experiences and even their feelings ends up uniting them in the end. Now, there's far more to it than that, and I am not giving anything away, just so you know. Ultimately, I love this game. I think this is well worth the money. For me, it was about $12 or so, but I ended up getting 25% off because I already owned Road 96, which I think is a really cool thing. I would recommend playing both, to be honest, but I really loved Road 96, and I thought it did some stuff that I had never seen any other game do before that, or at least very rarely. And I think that the way that this is done is how you do storytelling, how you build characters, and you give them that depth that a lot of people need to really feel attached to a game or to characters in a game. I will say this game is not without its faults. It does have a few. In fact, it is in desperate need of a bit of a stability patch, as some of the moments when you're in first person and you're kind of looking around, you're maybe talking to people, you're interacting with things, it can feel a little bit jarring the way that it almost lags. It gets kind of hung up, if you will, and then at times it just doesn't move like it should. Now, when you're playing the rhythm game parts and you're either skateboarding or roller skating, it feels great, fantastic, incredibly responsive, and these are the parts I would think would be harder for the game to be able to process, but for some reason, no, it's when you're just kind of in that first person view and you're, having dialogue with different people or you're exploring things that I noticed it to really just chug up, and it was pretty bad at times. It never became a point where I wanted to stop playing or completely broke immersion, but it was really on that edge of being a little bit too annoying and something that really definitely needs to get fixed. Now, if I was going to give this game a score right now with the problems that it has, which again are very few but can be really just immersion breaking, I would say that I would give it a 7 out of 10. Now, if they fix these problems, which I think they will, and from Road 96, I can tell that they, obviously could fix these problems, then it would definitely go back up to an 8.5 out of 10. I ultimately think this game is fantastic. It's way, way worth the value that, even $12 is put on it, just for the music and those parts alone, let alone the amazing storytelling and just different abilities that you have. Now, I would also suggest that maybe they give you a little bit more direction, because there was a few times I just wasn't sure what to do, and I ended up walking around. There's one time specifically as Zoe, you're trying to distract your dad, and so I was looking around for every single thing I could think of to try to distract him, when all I had to do was go up and talk to him. Just like a hint or two to keep the story going, but ultimately doesn't even need that. I think this game is fantastic, and if you're even thinking about it, you should definitely get it. Let me know what you guys think. Is this a game you're going to pick up? Have you played Road 96? Are you going to pick up both of them? Just one final note that I wanted to mention, you don't have to have played Road 96 to play Road 96 Mile Zero, and vice versa, although again, like I said, I would play both of them. I also wanted to make one other note, and that is that I earlier had said I got it for $12. I actually picked it up for $10 with that 25% off. Without that, it comes to like 12 something. Anyway, I appreciate each and all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Take care, guys. Love ya. Bye-bye.